All right. Welcome back, everyone, to LFR. This is the Formula 4 Championship Series, and today we're here for the second round of this Season 1 Championship event. It's good to be back commentating over another LFR race, and today we're here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia, at the Spanish Grand Prix, and like I said, we're here for round 2 of Season 1 of the Formula 4 Championship, which is on Thursdays. So let's talk about this track before we get into the one-shot qualifying. We got 16 turns to make up a circuit length of 4.6 kilometers. That's 2.9 miles long, 9 right turns, 7 left turns, and 2 DRS zones to help encourage overtaking. And let's first go into a lap with one of our 4 drivers as we take around the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. So coming down into turn 1, you're going to brake right around the 100-meter mark, maybe right between the 50 and the 100-meter mark as we come on board with Shug's Life. Coming through turn 3 now, a very long turn. You don't want to get that car too much to the left because you'll get invalidation and go off track and could be very difficult. Down into turn 4 we go now. We're going to get a nice slingshot down to turn 5 as we brake right in between that curb to the right there. Rotate the car perfectly as you head into a little bit of straight, which turns into a very difficult traction zone. Down into turn 6, hit the brakes hard, and then immediately on the power. That's the traction zone after you hit turn 6. Now into turn number 9, I do believe it is called, as we head down into the second DRS zone. Very short DRS, and into a very heavy braking zone, a hairpin actually, as we head into sector 3, the most difficult point of the entire track. Turn 11, if you hit that curb, it sends you off spinning into the wall, into the gravel trap, and out of the race as well. Down into a little bit of straight into turn 13. Ooh, a very difficult line for Shug's Life as we come down into one of the most difficult chicanes on the Formula 1 calendar. And it looks like Shug's Life is actually backed off of his life. And I do believe it will be Lucas A. Germany on top for the reserve team, a 1:16.802. So very quick lap time from the reserve car. And it looks like Daisy #1 fan is second, and Reese Boy is third for the Ford team. Great to see the Fords back up there as well as the Bentleys. Alright guys, so we've just ended the one-shot qualifying. We're ready to go for the official race, and a few things has changed over from the Austrian Grand Prix which we had. And if you guys missed out on that little commentary that we had for the first ever round of Formula 4, definitely go check that out. There of course is going to be on the LFR YouTube channel, so you guys can go check that out. And today we're going to have a little bit of a different format. So for the Spanish Grand Prix and for round 2, we're going to have a reverse grid. So that means that the results from the sprint race will be reversed, basically. So whoever finishes in first position in the sprint race will start at the back of the grid, unless people do decide to DNF in the pit lane. They will start at the back, even though they do DNF if they are in the pits. But if they crash out on track, if they maybe, I don't know, spin out or something like that, and they crash out, they will start at the front. It's going to be a little confusing, of course, but that, of course, is predictable because it is the first ever time we're doing a reverse grid here. So just wanted to let you guys know about that little change over from the Austrian Grand Prix over the Spanish Grand Prix. It is great to see that we have a mix-up, you know, in terms of the scheduling for the races and all that sort of thing. It is great to see a mix-up. So anyway, we're heading into the sprint race. We're going to get a race, and we're going to actually get the 5 red lights out. No formation laps, straight into the Grand Prix, or straight into the sprint qualifying, and it is 5 red lights out, and away we go for the sprint race here in round 2. It's a pretty good start for the reserve team, as Lucas leads us away from Daisy #1 fan in the Bentley car. Great start by Robin as well, as here comes Daisy #1 fan down the inside, and it looks like a pretty late break from, I think that was one of the Toyotas, if I'm not mistaken. King David in the Monster Energy car is already up to 3rd position. Great start by him. Great start by Lucas as well, as he leads us away. Coming down into turn 4 we go. King David right on the back of Daisy #1 fan. He's looking for the maneuver to try and make the overtake. Daisy #1 fan pulls to the inside line, tries to defend that line off of King David. King David has to back out of that one, as Nero in the reserve car is also trying to get up into the action. We already have 2 reserve drivers up into the top 5. The all white cars are the reserve cars, by the way, guys, if you didn't get that completely, as Reese did not have the best of start. He is the lead forward currently. And is he going to try and make a move on Nero? Yes, he does. He's going to try and send it down into turn 10. Ooh, a little bit of contact between the two. It looks like Nero will just about keep ahead. Robin in the second. Bentley is now going to try and get ahead as well. Looks like the Bentleys are trying to get into the mix. They didn't have the best of results in the previous Austrian Grand Prix. They need a good result. And another thing to mention, guys, is that our sprint race, or the sprint qualifying that we have here today, is going to be, the drivers are going to be scoring points all the way down to the P10, I believe. They're all going to be scoring the normal point scoring format that we have in the normal Formula 1 season. And going back to the action, it looks like Robin and Reese still continuing their battle between Ford and Bentley. Now, if you guys... Oh, that's a spinner. I think that's Court, and I do believe that was... Who else was that? That was a Toyota or reserve driver. That might have been Thibbo. Not exactly sure, but that was Court, the driver that was up there in the previous Austrian Grand Prix. Unfortunately, he's down to P17. But remember, whoever starts at the back of the grid will be able to qualify and pole for the official 50% race, of course. So if he does qualify, or if he does finish down there, then he'll qualify in P1. We'll see how that all works out for whoever's down in the bottom. We might see an unexpected driver on pole position. We'll see how that all works out. I'm riding on board with Kingsholm. The driver that won the Austrian Grand Prix had a brilliant race for Ford. Ford currently lead the championship as well. He's had a great start to the season. Currently in 8th right now, looking to chase after Mr. Basil in the Monster Energy car. And it looks like Robin is trying to make the move on Reese. I think King David is actually making the move on Daisy number 1 fan. So great to see number 1 fan and David having it at right now. They'll continue their battles. Number 1 fan going to try and go down the inside for the Bentley team. Doesn't look like it. It looks like King David will just about get ahead for now. Nero in the reserve car will stay behind, just 2/10 behind. Oh, it's actually, he's trying to make the move on the Bentley. It looked like he was going to make that move, but couldn't quite yet. He is right in the back of Daisy number 1 fan. Let's get an on board with the reserve driver. He's joined the party here for P2 in this particular race. Reese Boy also in that battle. Robin as well, further 6/10 behind. And then we have a little bit of a gap between Mr. Basil and Robin, about 2.2 seconds. Separating those two drivers. The Toyota's not having a great day so far. They're down in P11 and P15. It looks like we have a yellow flag. That might be Emma Gunnar down in P18. I do believe it is. He's coming through turn 3 now. Looks like he's got on track and it's all okay there. So currently, Lucas A. Germany still leads us away by 2.2 seconds to King David in the Monster Energy car. King David has to defend for his life if he's going to keep number 1 fan behind. Now, guys, I mentioned that there's 2 DRS zones for a round here, one of which is between turn 9 and turn 10. Not very much powerful, but this DRS zone is incredibly powerful, and you can just see his number 1 fan is using the power of that DRS to try and go down the inside on King David. Here we go. Who's going to get ahead is a number 1 fan. We're kind of getting an awkward camera angle here, as it looks like number 1 fan will just barely get ahead, and King David will stick behind. But look at that. King David's going to try and go for it once again. He tries to go around the outside. The Monster Energy car, who got a podium last time out in Austria, is now trying to make the move, maybe trying to send it down the inside into turn 4. No, he cannot. So he sticks behind just for now. Number 1 fan keeps ahead, so the Bentley team now moves up into P2 in the sprint qualifying that we're seeing right now. So that's quite interesting to see. That's good to see, of course, for Bentley. And also the Ford of Reese Boy is now caught up to this battle as well. Looks like Robin is starting to get in the mix as well. The 2 Bentleys are getting into the mix for the top 5, which is great to see. And it looks like we also have a nice battle between Kingsholm, it looks like Mr. Basil, and Limesky all battling for position for P7 in today's race. It looks like Thibbo possibly and Brad having a wheel-to-wheel battle here. It looks like the Toyota of Brad is now trying to get past Thibbo Boy, who's now trying to make the move on Nem. We'll see how this battle plays out. But currently, we have that nice little battle for P7 in today's race. Looks like Limesky's trying to make the move on Kingsholm. Kingsholm using that DRS to try and make the move on Mr. Basil. Here he goes. He's using the power. He's going to go for it. And there goes Kingsholm up into P7. A pretty easy overtake. As that is Nero spinning around at turn number 3. It's been passed by those 3 drivers that were battling for what was P7, now is P6. But currently, Nero's now down to P9. Unfortunate to see that, of course. But that is all okay. Limesky and oh, that's Mr. Basil going off the track in the gravel there. Ooh, does he have front wing damage? It doesn't look like it. Maybe just recovering after going off in the gravel. When you get gravel on your tires, guys, the tires are not the greatest, as you can probably think. Oh, that is King David out of the race from P3. That is a massive crash, and that is a full course safety car. Unsurprisingly, that is a full course safety car. And King David is out of the Grand Prix. What's not surprised? Well, what's not? I lost my words. Anyway, it is very surprising that King David is out of the race. What happened there? He must have spun off at turn 9, must have been, but he was really far off the track. He was next to the 94 exit there, and it looks like he just spun it. Kind of looks like he did. Maybe he went too wide on turn 9. I have done that many times myself, as many other drivers have done so as well, as it looks like a double stack between some of these drivers. Ooh, wings flying off in the entrance to the pit lane there. Not sure exactly who that was, but everyone is pitting, as to be expected, and this means that we're going to get a little bit of a packed pit lane here. Is anyone staying out? Yes, Boosted is staying out. Boosted has changed his strategy, and this has actually really benefited him. He moves up into 3rd place. That's good for the reserve team. It looks like everyone will exit on the medium compound tires. It looks like Kingsholm gained off of Mr. Basil Limesky. There was some stacked pit stops there. So interesting to see how that's worked out. Also, Flea in the Porsche up to P9. Great to see that as well. Remember, Flea's been having a great, he had a great first race. It didn't really work out for him towards the middle, I think. He spun off or something like that. But he came back through the field, and I think he was my driver of the day, if I'm not mistaken, from last week. But he had an incredible race, finished on the podium, was very close to winning that one. Currently in 9th position. Still has a really good shot at winning the sprint race, or the sprint qualifying, whatever which you want to call it, race or qualifying. And then, of course, he's got a massive chance of winning the official race later on, so that'll be great as well. And it looks like Lucas A. Germany will lead us away. And while the safety car is out, I'm going to quickly invite our co-commentator. We should be having a co-commentator come in as well, so that'll be great as well. I haven't invited him to the party because I'm commentating. Of course, it's kind of hard to do that. Multitasking, of course. So I'm going to quickly do that, and I'll be back in a moment. All right. So we're going to hopefully get our co-commentator in probably the end of the sprint qualifying. So once this ends, we will have him hopefully join, which will be great, of course. And it looks like the safety car is coming in, so perfect timing. So thank you guys for your patience there. I just wanted to make sure that we get our second commentator in the booth as well. So Lucas A. Germany will lead us away for the reserve team. I'm curious to see if number 1 fan will be able to get the better start, though, because the Bentley team driver knows, I think he's got some pretty good starts. I mean, he's I think in previous races, I think he was in the Tuesday division. When I saw this last season in Season 2, I remember seeing that he was really quick off of the safety car starts. So we'll see how this all works out, but it looks like Lucas actually goes pretty early. I was expecting him to go off that last turn there, but he got a really good start off of Daisy number 1 fan. I was not expecting that. So Lucas A. Germany now has a 7/10 gap over Daisy number 1 fan. I think everyone didn't expect Lucas A. Germany to do that, as number 1 fan defends the inside line, maybe mistaking his braking a little bit there. That might invite Boosted to try and make the move, but remember, Boosted is on 7-lap-old medium compound tires, so he is not on the preferred tire right now. And now here goes Robin as Daisy number 1 fan's off the track. What happened there? Maybe going a little bit wide there that upset his balance. Maybe he just lost the car a little bit, but that has allowed Robin in the second Bentley now to move up into second place. And unfortunately, number 1 fan is down to 7th. I think he maybe just mistook the braking, or maybe he got too close to that curb and spun it and thankfully saved it, but did unfortunately go off the track. It kind of looks like that was the case. But his teammate now moves up into second, so Robin now puts himself up into second place, and now I think he's going to be the one to challenge Lucas A. Germany for the win, and we'll see how this all works out. Currently, Emma Gooner. Oh, that is Robin! Oh no! Another Bentley is off the track. This is drama for the Bentley team. Daisy number 1 fan first, now Robin second, and this is absolutely not what you want to see for the Bentley team, as this has just upset their result in today's sprint race. Oh my, that is incredibly unfortunate. Daisy number 1 fan making his way through the field, as it looks like Reese Boy and Boosted going side by side. Down into turn 1 we go. Reese Boy gets ahead for Ford, moves himself up into second place, and meanwhile, Daisy number 1 fan did get that position and is now up in the 5th position. Now he's trying to chase after Keensholm, who's now trying to chase after Boosted, who still has to pit in this Grand Prix. So Boosted will still pit in the race. So that'll be interesting to see how that all works out. So also, it looks like we have a yellow flag. That might be Robin. Oh, that's super unfortunate for Robin. It looks like he spun off at turn 12. It didn't quite work out for him in this particular result, but of course, he's going to start at the front of the pack. So it's not all problems for the Bentley driver. As usually in a normal 50% race or a short qualifying or even a sprint race like this, with no reverse grid, it would just be devastation for the Bentley driver. But everyone can kind of benefit from this. It's kind of good in that way. It's great to think about. So anyway, moving on, it looks like the 2 reserves occupy 1st and 3rd position, and the 2 Ford drivers occupy 2nd and 4th, as we have, I think, Thibault off the track at turn number 12, in between turn 12 and turn 13, but someone that's trying to get into the mix and spoil the reserve team and the Ford team's results in this grid is Daisy number 1 fan. But he's also got to be cautious of Keensholm and Boosted having a nice little battle here as Keensholm just sends it to the inside, and that was a brilliant move from the Ford driver. He absolutely worked that out, and it looks like Boosted just went a little too wide, and that invites Daisy number 1 fan to go down the inside and make the overtake. Now he is gaining a lot of time on Keensholm, so I think we might have a little battle here for 3rd position. This will be great to see. Daisy number 1 fan's got some speed. After going a little bit wide and upsetting his battle with Lucas A. Germany and himself, of course, he's making his way through the field and trying to get back up to those positions. Unfortunately, the spin or the going off track affected his end result and the time, the gap he had to Lucas A. Germany and himself. But that's okay. We move on. Number 1 fan is trying to make that move on LGE Keensholm, as it looks like we have a NEM off the track. What happened there to the Porsche driver off at turn 4, if I'm not mistaken? Unfortunate to see that, of course, but that's all good. Moving on, it looks like we have a nice battle, pretty much all the way down from 3rd down to around 9th or so. Lucas A. Germany leading a 4.6 second gap to Reese Boy, and further down we have that nice little battle between number 1 fan and Keensholm. Keensholm defending that inside line, but number 1 fan's got the power of the DRS. Like I said previously, the DRS is incredibly powerful for around this track, as number 1 fan in the Bentley will move himself up into 3rd position. Now, we do have to remember that he does have a penalty, so this could affect the end result as well, as it looks like Thibault has retired. Was that at, let's take an onboard with Nem. That was on track, I want to say. Ooh, that is on track. And currently, yeah, he'll be starting P3, if I'm not mistaken. I think King David will start on pole with Nero in P2 and Thibaut Boy in P3, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see how that all works out. But going back to that battle for third, it looks like Daisy #1 fan has got that gap. He wants to make sure he's looking to get that gap. He's got a good gap. Oh, that's a Monster Energy car. I think that's Mr. Basil. Yeah, that is Mr. Basil going off the track there, trying to recover after going off the track there. It looks like he just got a little too much of the race, but he has lost a lot of positions. He's actually now side by side with Emma Gunnar, who's going to get past there. Gunnar will get up into P10. Mr. Basil will be down to P11. So unfortunately, he's lost a lot of time and is currently out of the points. But that's okay, as Daisy #1 fan has set the fastest lap of the race. He has now got the gap between himself and Kingsholm. That Kingsholm can no longer chase him because Kingsholm has got no DRS off of #1 fan. So I think really the battle is for P2 now, because Daisy #1 fan is going to start gaining that gap. He's around 2 seconds to Reese Boy. So we got one forward, looking to get the second one now. And remember, Reese Boy's got that 5-second time penalty. And currently, Kingsholm will be P2. Unless these two start gaining a lot of time. That is Limesky, the other Monster Energy car, going backwards. What is going on here? Oh no! What happened to Limesky? Disqualified as well. What happened there? I switched to his camera angle and his car is completely going backwards there. I have no idea what happened there. But he will start P19. I don't know what disqualification means. I wonder if he will start on pole or that will be P19. Not exactly sure about that one. We'll find out when we get to the 50% race. Meanwhile, Flea has moved himself up into P5, so great to see the Porsche driver up there. I told you guys, Flea's coming back through the field. He's going to start getting up into the top 5, and he's already done that. And also Brad as well. We haven't talked about the Porsches and the Toyotas quite a lot because there hasn't been too much action with them. It's mostly been between the reserve team and the Fords and the Monster Energy cars and the Bentleys as well. The Bentleys have been up there. But Brad is now trying to make the move on Flea. He's going to get ahead, I do believe. Shug's Life and Court are also going to have a nice battle between the two Ford drivers. Who's going to get ahead? Is it Court? Is it Shug's Life? Ooh, let's see. Looks like Court will just about stay behind Shug's Life. We'll just keep ahead for now. Will Court try and re-overtake? I'm not exactly sure. Now remember, these guys are all in a DRS train, so they basically have all the speed, all the same speed. So it's going to be really difficult to overtake. So the result is going to be difficult. We'll see how this all works out. Emma Gunnar has now joined the party as well, so another reserve driver moves himself up into the top 10. Great to see that as well. Gunnar's going to try and make the move on Court. We'll see how that works out. Hopefully, hopefully he'll be able to try and make that move and get up into the top 8. That'll be good for him. Mr. Basil's moved himself up into top 10 as well, so Monster Energy will be scoring a point at least in today's sprint qualifying. But as we head into the Grand Prix, it might be a very different story. I hope Monster Energy will be scoring some good points because they currently have that battle with Ford. Of course, we are still very early into this championship, but every single point counts. Moving down the grid, it looks like Emma Gunnar is now making that move on Court, so Gunnar gets himself up into P8 and splits the two Fords now. But it looks like Court's going to come back, try and send it. No, he tucks in right behind and keeps that position. It looks like Shug's Life is now trying to make the move on Flea. He goes a little bit wide, but rotates the car perfectly to keep ahead of Shug's Life for now. So the Porsche driver will stay ahead, but Shug's Life is going to try and make that overtake. The Fords are on fire throughout these couple of first rounds. It is looking really well. It's looking really good for the Ford drivers right now. And moving up the field, we are lap 14. Out of 17 laps, just a few laps remain. 5.7 seconds separates first and second place. Lucas A. Germany, I think he's got the win, and he will be scoring those 25 points, unless he scores the fastest lap as well. I'll quickly check that. Where can I find that? It's been a while since I've looked. It is Daisy #1 fan that's actually got the fastest lap right now, a 1:18.930. So #1 fan currently has that, and he'll be scoring that extra point. So currently he'll be scoring 16 points. in today's race finishes in 3rd position. Let's quickly get the gaps back on screen because I want to see what it is like between number 1 fan and LGE Keensholm. Now, Keensholm has a 5.3 second gap to looks like Daisy number 1 fan and Reese Boy. But, yeah, it's going to be difficult. I don't know if he's going to be able to get on the podium because these two have kind of gained a lot. Let's get the leaderboard on here as well. We'll see how that works out. So, Keensholm is currently 14 seconds behind Lucas A. Germany. And he is currently 5.4 seconds behind number 1 fan. Number 1 fan currently 2.8 seconds behind Reese Boy. Now, currently, he will be scoring P2 in today's race. And I think Keensholm will be scoring P4, so I think we'll finish with Lucas A. Germany in P1, number 1 fan in P2, Reese Boy in P3, and Keensholm in P4, and Brad making himself up into the top 5. So, yeah, we'll see how this all works out. It's going to be interesting. We'll see what exactly happens. Ooh, a nice little battle for P6 in today's race. Court and Emma Gunnar. Ooh, a little bit of contact. Oh, that's Flea! Oh, my! Oh my goodness, I think he spun off there, and it looks like Court was involved in that as well. He's got no front wing, neither does Mr. No, Mr. Basil does have front wing. But that is huge. That is absolutely huge. It looks like Flea may have spun. Court went right into him. We got a perfect camera angle of what happened there. And it doesn't look like Emma Gunnar and Shug's Life were affected in any way. They will continue their battle. This actually kind of benefits them in ways because, the thing is that now they have clean air. Now they'll be fighting one another for those particular points. But this is horrible for Flea and Court as they will move down the grid and won't be scoring any points in this sprint qualifying. But this does mean that they will be starting closer to the front of the grid. So it is great to see that. It is great to see them back in the action. We will not see the end of those two drivers anytime soon. Because they'll be coming back in the 50% race, and they will be on fire, I'm assuming. So we'll see how this all works out. But Lucas A. Germany is about to start the final lap of the race. He went a little wide there. That chicane is a very difficult chicane to get completely right there. I don't think we have any more battles. I think the closest battle might be between Emma Gunnar and Shug's Life. I think that's pretty much where we are in the stage of the race. So we'll just ride on board with Lucas A. Germany as he comes through turn number 3. Oh, he gets a penalty. I don't think it will affect the race results. It shouldn't affect the race results. So it should be all good there. I love this track, guys. I really do. I love the Spanish Grand Prix. It is a truly incredible circuit. We haven't had too many great races in the past of the Spanish Grand Prix, but in Formula 1, I think a while back we had some great races. Who can remember Michael Schumacher's first win for Ferrari in 96? On 86, we had Senna and Mansell having a great battle. The gap between both of the drivers was 0.014. Senna ahead of Mansell in that particular battle. And then, of course, Alonso winning his home Grand Prix and last win to date in 2013. But yeah, a lot of races to remember in the Spanish Grand Prix. Not a lot of overtaking, as this track doesn't have a ton of overtakes. But we have seen a lot in this virtual race here in LFR in the Formula 4 race. And we're going to get a perfect angle as Lucas A. Germany comes around the final corner at Catalonia to win here in Barcelona. He's going to start down in, I do believe, P18, if I'm not mistaken, but he's going to start off with a win in the sprint race, and this is going to be brilliant for him as Lucas A. Germany wins the sprint race. He will grab 25 points in this race. Great to see that Reese Boy does stay ahead of number 1 fan. So Reese Boy will grab P2 with number 1 fan in P3 grabbing that fastest lap as well. He will score 16 points for the Bentley team, so that'll be great as well. And yeah, it's going to be great to see all these drivers going at it in the 50% race. Don't go away, guys, because we still have that amazing race to come as everyone's just finishing up the sprint race here today. It truly was incredible, guys. We got a lot of action in the sprint race, and now we just got a race to remember in the 50% race that is coming up in just a few minutes. King David, if I'm not mistaken, will start on pole position unless we're counting the disqualifications as well. In that case, it will be Limesky on pole. So either one of the Monster Energy team's drivers drivers will be on pole position. And for anyone watching this, there was no one that retired in the pit lane, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was all on track, so it should be all good to go for the setting of the grid. So we are heading into the podium celebrations here, as it is the reserve driver, Lucas A. Germany, that starts off with a win. Great to see the reserve team out on top. Great to see also the Ford team and the Bentley team up there as well. Ford extending their championship lead, and also Bentley getting a podium as well. Bentley haven't had a great start to the season, but I think they're going to change it all around in the Spanish Grand Prix coming up. It's truly going to be an incredible race. All right, so that's the results. Lucas A. Germany did eventually grab the fastest lap. I didn't actually see that. So he will score a total of 26 points, which is the max amount of points he will get in today's sprint race. Reese Boy will grab P2 with number 1 fan scoring 15 points for the Bentley team in P3. Also championship leader Kingsholm is P4 with the Toyota team going from 19th to 5th. Brad scoring 5th place for Toyota. What incredible sprint race that was, guys. I hope you all enjoyed that one. We're now heading into the Spanish Grand Prix, the official 50% race, where the results from the sprint race will be completely reversed. Whoever finished last in the sprint race will start on pole, and that's how it works out for pretty much everyone. It's going to be great to see how that all works out. It gives an opportunity for drivers who aren't really able to score wins and stuff like that, because there's maybe like they spin off or something like that. It gives them the opportunity to be able to take some wins and hopefully get some decent points. We'll see how that all works out. It's going to be great. So before we head into that, while the admins are getting ready for this, while we're in the loading screen here, let's talk about a few things heading into this. I think the first thing we got to do is talk about what can we talk about? Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to talk about. I want to talk about, I've said talk about thousands of times, I'm sorry. Let's mention the promotions, I guess. We got to talk about the LFR YouTube channel and all that sort of thing. So guys, if you are not subscribed, please do so. This would be highly appreciated, as of course we are on the road to 200 subscribers. Currently we are at, I think, 171 if I'm not mistaken. So definitely subscribe, be a part of the 200 subscribers on our road to 200 subscribers, of course. Also, like the video if you're enjoying the commentary so far. The race is just going to get better, guys, and we're going to have a lot more action coming up. Also, we're not just streaming on the LFR YouTube channel, we are streaming on my personal Twitch channel, the Formula Jonah Twitch channel, so definitely do that as well. This is where I'll be commentating pretty much all my racing, so definitely check that out as well. It's just called Formula Jonah. You can type it into Twitch, and you can find me and follow me on Twitch. That would be much appreciated. So as we head into the Grand Prix, into the Spanish Grand Prix, we're gonna get an amazing race. We truly are. And before we head into that, I want to also mention, if you guys want to send in some comments, this would be highly appreciated as well. So thank you very much. If you guys have any questions, maybe some predictions maybe as well, who do you think is going to win the race, all that sort of thing, comment down below your thoughts on that. That would be great as well. And I think we're just waiting for the admins to say what we are doing and when we are set to ready up for the 50% race. I'm just going to quickly check and see where our co-commentator is, and hopefully we can get him in, and then we'll be set to go. All right. So everything should be coming in now. I think we're just waiting for the admins to say the call to head into the 50% race. So just want to say, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Like I mentioned previously, leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Also follow me on the Twitch channel as well, as we're streaming on there. So if you're currently watching on Twitch, definitely follow there. If you're currently watching on YouTube, subscribe there. But we're heading now into the 50% race. It truly is going to be an incredible event. I cannot wait, not just for this race, but also for the season as well. It's truly going to be incredible. 5 different teams, including also a reserve team as well, so that I guess that makes it 6 different teams. We have the Toyota team, we have the Monster Energy team, we have the Ford team, the Porsche team, the Bentley team, and of course the reserve drivers as well. So who do we think is going to be winning this race? Send your thoughts down in the comments down below. And if you do have any questions, do ask me. I'll try and respond to as many as I can. And let's quickly talk about this track as well. We haven't really talked about the Spanish Grand Prix. Like I mentioned, I think I mentioned this briefly, it's got 16 turns, 9 to the right, 7 to the left, circuit length of 4.675 kilometers, that's 2.905 miles, 2 DRS zones, and of course, a lot of action to come from the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. Spain has also hosted many different testing races in Formula One's past. I do believe we'll be heading to Spain for the 2022 season for, of course, testing, and then, of course, we'll head there later on for the official Spanish Grand Prix as well. This track has got a lot of history in Formula One, like I mentioned. The first ever winner of the Spanish Grand Prix was Juan Manuel Fangio in 1951, so quite a while ago. It's located in Barcelona, Spain. Barcelona, quick facts about Barcelona. Barcelona is the second biggest city in Spain. Madrid, of course, is the first, sorry, why did I say third? Barcelona is also famous for its architecture and its art. Beautiful art here, guys. I love the art and the architecture as well. If you have a chance to visit the city, it is a truly incredible city. It's, I think, one of the most beautiful cities ever, guys. It truly is. I mean, what I've seen is on like of all the images I've seen. I personally have not gone to Barcelona, but what I have seen is just absolutely incredible. Hopefully I'll get the chance to go there in real life. Another thing we should probably talk about as well is the tire strategy. This is something that is, of course, critical for today's race, as all to get the key strategy and the best strategy for the race itself. I preferably go for a medium to hards. That is the best strategy in my opinion. But another great strategy as well would be soft, medium, soft. Of course, you have to make sure those mediums last for as long as possible, and you have to make sure those softs at the first stint last for a pretty long time, because the thing is that softs die out for a pretty long time, actually. And at the end, you're going to be pushing as hard as possible on those soft compound tires, so you want to make sure that you're not degrading them too much, and you have a good lifespan between when you get off those mediums and to the end of the Grand Prix as well. So yeah, like I mentioned, soft to medium. Soft is a great strategy. Another one is medium to hard. There is a possibility of I do believe medium, soft, soft. That's another one. There's multiple different strategies. I'm curious to see what these guys do. I think these guys do know what they're doing. Of course, they have the experience. They know what type of strategy they want, and of course, they know where that strategy will get them as well. Another thing to keep an eye out, guys, is the overtaking, because like I mentioned previously, we do have a really long straight down to T1. The DRS is incredibly powerful. We're going to see speeds up to around 210 miles per hour. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all works out. But down into turn 16 at the Catalonia and down into turn 1, it's going to be a blast to see who is going to be able to make that pass on the driver ahead. So we could see a lot of drivers making moves. And the thing is, guys, is that the drivers that start in P2 or basically whoever is going to be in P2 or P3 at the end of the first lap will have an incredible advantage over the driver in P1, because like I mentioned, there is a really long DRS straight, and that means slipstream. That totally means slipstream, because this driver in second place will have the slipstream from the car ahead, which means that driver in second place will have so much power down the straight from the slipstream, from the power that they are consuming from the ERS and all that sort of thing, that they will be able to make that overtake. So what that means is that whoever's in second place, or whoever's right behind the driver ahead, this means that, yeah, we're going to get an overtake. That's really what I'm saying here. Another great place to make an overtake would be down into turn number 4 and into turn 5, as you have that really long turn out of the fast chicane up to turn 3. You can try and go around the outside of your fellow driver, of course, or try and go for that switchback if the equation kind of ends out with that. So we could see a very nice little overtake at turn 3 as well, but like I mentioned, turn 4 and turn 5 are great places for overtakes as well. Drivers will typically go for a move down the inside into both sections of the track. But the thing is that when you go for a move down the inside into turn 4 and turn 5 as well, you kind of have to turn that car a lot, because the thing is that the car is going to be like, it's such a sharp turn that when you're trying to make a move and trying to dive it down the inside, you have to make sure you leave space on the left for your fellow driver, of course, unless, of course, you get ahead and, you know, in that situation. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. I've seen a lot of crashes at turn 4, especially because of the gravel trap that's so close to the track, because your car is turning, and when you're side by side, there's not a lot of space at the exit of turn 4, and so sometimes the driver on the right will pull over to the left and kind of push that driver that's on the left off the track, which of course is not what they're intentionally trying to do. It's just how the corner works out. It's just it's a little bit of a dangerous corner, I guess you could say. Also, another great place to make an overtake would be down the inside into turn 10. That's another amazing spot to make a pretty good overtake, and that's pretty much it. There's not many other places to make an overtake for around here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. And I think we're just waiting for the race to get underway. It looks like we are just waiting for the call for the admins, and I will let everyone know once we get that call. But what can we talk about, guys? What can we talk about? If you guys do have any questions, like I said previously, send them down in the comments section down below. Yeah, oh, it looks like we have our second commentator coming in. Great to see that as well. I do believe we have Big Weir joining us in the commentary booth. Big Weir, can you hear us?
Hello, Broom. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, mate?
Oh, well, I've just got my hair cut. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling fresh, and I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing. I was listening to the sprint on the way home in the car. It sounded like it was quite a busy one. A bit of drama, lots of action. How was it for you?
It definitely was exciting. It was a very, very entertaining race, yeah, just excited to get into the 50% race now. So glad you're joining us. So good to have you in the commentary booth. So you said you were listening to it in the car. What can you tell us about some of these drivers? We know that you're an admin, I do believe, in the league. And you probably know a lot of these drivers. Who do you think is going to be a driver that's going to be just pulling off an incredible performance in the 50% race?
Well, I know we've got a reverse grid now. I did miss the order of the grid, but there's a lot of speedy boys, as I like to call them, in this race today that I can see anyway. Kingsholm, he's I believe leading the championship at the moment, so he'll be one to watch if the grid's reversed. I heard Flea had an incident quite late into the race. I believe there was I don't know if he spun, but he'll be one to watch if he's going to be down at the bottom end of the grid. Expect a charge from him. Lucas said Germany Germany, one of the reserves, definitely has shown his pace in the other days, and I think he's just coming into Thursday and trying to assert his dominance here as well. And then, of course, you've got Armaguner and King David there as well. Anyone who's been watching this league knows those guys have got a bit of pace behind them. It'll be interesting to see how those guys get on.
Yeah, it definitely will be. I do believe King David is going to be up at the front of the field because he DNF'd in the sprint race, so that means he'll be going up to the top as well. But yeah, there's a lot of drivers out there that can put on some incredible performances. You're definitely right. You mentioned that Flea had an incident. Yes, he did. I do believe he spun, and then I think Court may have hit him unintentionally, of course. Yeah, there was some contact between the two. I'm sure the stewards will be looking into that. So now we head into the race. We head into the Spanish Grand Prix, and we'll just go through the grid in a moment, just so you guys are familiar and know exactly who's starting where. So actually, I'll do that real quickly once we get into the loading screen. But what can we talk about, Weir? Do you have any thoughts before we head into the Spanish Grand Prix?
Well, as we know, this track's kind of traditionally quite difficult to overtake on. Really only, I suppose, maybe two main overtaking opportunities into turn one and just at the back end of the second DRS straight. It's going to be, I think this is going to be quite a strategy heavy race. Those guys in the mediums might be able to benefit from running long and holding up maybe the two stoppers behind. Also a track that's quite traditionally, touch the curves in this track and you'll end up well and truly into the wall. So I'm expecting some incidents, some safety cars, pretty much a longer sprint race as it previously went, but I think it's going to be a good one.
Definitely have to agree with you. Yeah, I think there's a lot of places for spinning moments. There's a lot of drivers that can spin off because of the traction zones for rounds here. I think we're talking about in the sprint race. Turn 1 and 2 is a traction zone. Turn 6 and 7 is another traction zone. And, of course, the entire third sector is pretty much a traction zone as well. It is a very difficult track, but also an incredibly fun one as well. So I'm going to quickly do the rundown of the grid, and then I'll pass it on to you. So we got King David on pole position. He finished, I do believe, down in P19 in the sprint race because of DNFing, of course. He's going to start P1. He's got Fibble Boy in the reserve car starting P2. It's an all Porsche third and fourth. And of course, second row of the grid, Nem ahead of Flea. Flea on the soft compound tires. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do. Court in the Ford is lined up alongside Blades in the Toyota, starting P6 on the medium compound tires. Boosted in the second reserve car on this list so far is alongside Nerd Deer in the Bentley, the first of the pack of drivers starting on the soft compound tires. And he's got his teammate Robin, who had an unfortunate moment in the sprint race. He's coming through the field and looking to get a good result in the 50% race. He lines up alongside Mr. Basil in the Monster Energy car. Shug's Life is in the Ford alongside Emma Gooner in P12, with Brad in P13 for Toyota alongside Kinsholm on the medium compound tires starting P14. Number 1 fan in P15, Reese Boy in P16, Lucas A. Germany, who won the sprint race, starting P17 with Nero, Lewis, and Limesky rounding off the grid for Monster Energy. 1 Monster Energy car up at the front and 1 at the back.
And they're coming into the last sector now, so it's only a matter of time before it gets going. So this is the first time I've seen the grid. It's certainly a mix-up. Certainly a lot of the faster guys are right down at the bottom of the grid. It'll be interesting to see what way this ends up with this different format. It's definitely going to shake things up.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to. I think we're going to get an incredible race with a pretty big mix-up, as you did mention. So it's going to be great. We'll see how this all works out, but it looks like the formation lap is ending. We're ready to get the racing underway. Where are you ready to go for today's race?
Oh, I'm expecting a juicy one. I'm expecting a juicy one. Here we go.
Let's do this. All right, so King David starts on pole position. We're ready. We had our sprint race, which was truly incredible, and now we're ready for the 50% race. The 5 red lights are out. and it's racing here in round 2 of Formula 4. It's a great start for King David. He gets a really good start off of Thibaut. Flea on those soft compound tires had a great start. It's pretty much the top 3 going wheel to wheel. Flea trying to dance it down the inside off of King David. Thibaut trying to come back as everyone at the back is also having a nice battle as well. The Toyota of Blades up into P4. Nem down to P5. Court making his move on Nem as well, as that's Thibaut off the track. It looks like Flea will get ahead. Blades now trying to get in the action as well, and that is the Porsche of Nem off the track. That's also another car that might be Lucas A. Germany off the track as well. A lot of cars at turn 5, but it is King David that leads us away from Flea on those soft compound tires, with Thibaut Boy in P3, Blades in P4, and Court in P5.
Bit of drama already. Flea's trying to get that move done early on those softs. He knows he's got to maximise the pace he's got in those tyres, so I'd expect to move down into turn 1 here, maybe even before.
I agree. Yeah, he's got those soft tires a lot faster than King David. He's got the pace to try and make that overtake, so he's most likely going to do that. But we have the 2 Bentleys side by side. Ooh, number 1 fan trying to get that move on Ner. We actually have a Bentley's all in P6, P7, and P8, so great to see the Bentley cars up there. Number 1 fan making his way through the field, but I think we got to focus on Flea, who's a little further behind King David as he sets the fastest lap of the race. King David had a really good start. Oh, that is Ner, I think, off the track.
Oh, he's lost it. He's lost it coming out of the last corner. That's going to be, and he's in the gravel. That's going to hurt. And oh, he's lost it. That's going to be painful. He's going to have to hope for a safety car to recover that mistake. Nembitic just dived into the pits. I'm assuming he's got wing damage from that incident earlier. He'll also be praying for a safety car. I'm not sure what happened to him. Shug's life.
I think Shug's Life's off the track and out of the race. Virtual safety car is out on track. I think there was contact possibly with Reese Boy, Lucas A. Germany, and Shug's Life, as I saw a few cars off at turn 1. Not exactly sure what happened there, but he is out of the race. Unfortunate to see that, of course. One of the Fords is out of the race, and the virtual safety car is now called on track. I'm sure Nem and Nerder would probably like a safety car, but it looks like we aren't going to get that anytime soon.
Not at the minute, anyway. It's Michael Massey must be at the wheel, so because that was a pretty dodgy place for that car to be sitting. But virtual safety car, it's better than nothing, I guess. It's better than nothing. So those 2 guys, we're gonna keep praying, I suppose. Oh, but it's drive-through penalty for Blade.
I can't believe it. He was running so high up. He was in P4. It was looking so good for Blades. He's out. This is his race really compromised now, as he's going to have to serve that drive-through penalty. Is he going to do it this lap? Yes, he is. He's just going to get it done, get it over with. But, oh my gosh, that is so unfortunate for the Toyota driver.
He's coming into the pit lane now to get it out of the way straight away. Probably the wise decision. Get it out of the way and just worry about putting the laps in to get the pace up again. A lot of guys coming into the pits though. Nero and Reese Boy also in. Not sure if there was contact between the 2, but I wonder if they got caught up in that incident with Shug's Life on turn 2.
Yeah, I do believe they did. I think I saw Reese Boy off the track. He was on the blue part of the track at turn 1. That is Thibaut and Flea having their battle for P2. Thibaut's trying to make the move. The reserve driver on those medium compound tires really making the moves now and trying to get past Flea as well.
Yeah, I'm surprised that those soft tires haven't given Flea as much of an advantage as... Oh, with yellow sector 1, I'm not sure who it is.
I think it's Nerder.
He's not having a great time so far around Spain. Catalonia's not treating him nice today. He's just trying to get back onto the track safely, and I think he's managed that, so away he goes.
That's good. Yeah, he's back on track, not out of the race anytime soon. Hopefully a safety car comes out and that'll help him to get into the battle here. We have a nice battle for P5 right now. Court under pressure from number 1 fan. I think we also have Thibaut and... Thibaut lost the car. He's got no wing. I think that's at turn 16. He lost the car and he's got a wing.
The worst place to lose a wing on this track is that corner. He's going to have to do a whole lap without a wing, and that's going to really compromise his race. Like we said beforehand, Broom, the traction zone's catching a lot of people out early.
It truly is. It really is. I mean, look at Thibaut on board with Mr. Basil now, and he's just struggling to keep it on track. And like you said, that is the worst place to lose the car, because you just passed the pit lane. He really just passed the pit lane, and now he's going to have to go the entire way, all the way back. This is devastation for Thibaut, who is running up in the podium positions.
I've just been looking at the position changes. There's been some of these guys are having heroic drives so far. With Dazzy, you're up 11 positions already. Liam Esk in P10, he started dead last. It's lap 4. Come on, son, keep her going.
Yeah, you know, I mean, like, these guys are having some really good starting positions. I mean, number 1 fan's up 11 positions from, what was that? I mean, somewhere down in P13 or something like that. He's up to P4. Robin up 6 positions. The Bentleys are having a great day. Emma Gunnar up 6 positions. Keenzo making his way through the field up 7 positions. Limesky up to 10th. From starting P20, and this might be even 9th right here because he's trying to make the move on Boosted. It was a little bit wide, and Limesky's just going to have the opportunity. Oh, Boosted off the track!
Oh, has he lost it? No, he's managed to keep it okay. Lost a couple of positions, of course, but he's still on the road, I guess. Could have been another long run to the safety car, or run to the pit lane for one of the reserve drivers. Stable Boys managed to make it in. Thankfully, he's still within touching distance of the leaders, so he's not looking like he's going to get lapped at least. Always a silver lining, Abram.
There truly is. Yeah, it's okay. You know, he'll get back into this race. It won't be the end anytime soon. Ooh, number 1 fan's gonna try and make the move on Flea. He's gonna try it, possibly down into turn 9. That is not a place to make an overtake, but he was looking to do so. As Mr. Basil, I think, is off the track at that exact corner.
Spot. That's collision with one of the boosters drove into them. He's had a collision on track, and that's a 5-second penalty for Barry, unfortunately. Just lost it in a bad spot and tried to get going, but was unable to get out of the way of Boosted coming through. So that'll be another trip to the pit lane for Boosted, and a bit of devastation for Mr. Basil, to say the least.
Yeah, it was a very similar situation to Flea and Court in the previous sprint race. Flea spun it and couldn't avoid, or Court couldn't avoid that, and Flea couldn't get out of the way in time. It's a similar situation to Mr. Basil and Boosted, unfortunately, but that's how it works in racing. We will definitely move on. Oh, that is Daisy, number 1 fan. Oh, and he hits Emma Gunnar. That's Emma Gunnar off the track and out of the race. Full course safety car. Number 1 fan lost it. Emma Gunnar couldn't avoid that, and that is Emma Gunnar out of the race. Full course safety car. Number 1 fan and Emma Gunnar collide on lap 6. This is drama happening on lap 6 as the 2 make contact and a full course safety car has been deployed here at the Spanish Grand Prix.
Oh, a lot of them guys at the back are going to be rubbing their hands now. They've been thrown a rope. They've been thrown a rope. I mean, we sort of thought it was going to be a bit dramatic with the traction zones, but it's lap 6 and we're 3 cars down already, and I've lost count of the collisions so far. So this track proving very, very difficult for a lot of the drivers. Yeah, it's looking like this is going to be a very interesting one now. Crazy, but at least it gives you a chance to breathe. You know, sit back, relax, and we'll go again in a couple of laps' time.
Exactly. Yep. We'll get a time to relax, and then it'll come back and be ready for this one. It looks like pretty much everyone's going to come into the pit lane. King David in the pits, Robin and Flea into the pit lane. But yeah, I mean, like this track is a very difficult track to master. I think everyone is just got to make sure they get a good practice, get some good practice at this track. It is a very difficult one to master with all the traction zones. Someone spins and then collides with another driver. And to be honest, a lot of these incidents haven't been one driver's fault. It's just they spin and couldn't really avoid getting out of the way. You know, that's just how it works. It's unfortunate, but that is what it is, and that is racing, and we will move on. A very interesting strategy has been played here. Court and Keensholm stay out on those 6-lap old medium compound tires. They are now running 1-2 as they did in Austria just a race ago. Lucas A. Germany also stays out. Same with Blades, who had that drive-through penalty, which unfortunately cost him a lot of time there. But is this the best strategy here by Court and Keensholm? Do you think they should have pit, or do you think this is possibly the winning strategy for the both of them?
Well, I'm looking at the guys behind. King David's pit, but he's pit for mediums, and we know he started on the mediums, so we know he's at least starting again. There won't be a great advantage between the two tyre compounds because, well, we've only had 6 laps of race, and the mediums on Kingsholm and Court aren't that old. Lucas stayed out on the hards. I think he's planning a long stint, maybe go to the softs to the ends. You know, this is all, like I said, this is going to be all strategy, and you know, like I said, the medium runners might benefit from staying out, but if we've got a safety car already, what's to say there won't be one later?
Exactly. Yeah, who knows what could happen in this race. There's most likely going to be another safety car towards the end of this Grand Prix. We will find out how this works out. I don't think the safety car is coming in this lap, so we'll probably have another lap of the safety car here today. But that's just how it goes in racing. We get safety cars, and in real racing, of course, the marshals come out and clean up the debris and move on from that. That's how that works out. So, unfortunately, number one fan, after the contact with Emma Gunnar, which caused the safety car, actually, had to come into the pit lane and lost a lot of time. He did lose a lot of time. He's down to P10, lost a lot of time to his rivals like Robin and Flea. He was battling with them, and that's been really hurt him in today's race. But one thing that he does really, really well, and of course he does everything really, really well, but something that he does really well in the sprint race was he came back through the field. He came back through the field like really fast, and he just made a lot of overtakes and was able to get up to the front of the field pretty fast. So, I mean, he's got the pace to be able to be on the podium here today. Even if he is down in P10, I have no doubt that he will be fighting and consistently overtaking people to try and get up into the top 5 and to hopefully battle for that podium.
Yeah, he was one of the biggest gainers from the start. I mean, we think he started around P15 from memory, got himself into the top 5 and just had that incident. And if he's sitting P10 now, on fresh tyres, as long as he hasn't got any side pod damage or anything, but I'm looking at his car, it doesn't seem to be that way. There's no reason to say he can't charge through the field again. I think he's very much still in this race.
He very much is. Yeah, I think this is this is going to be a good race. Number one fan will be coming through the field, so it's not over anytime soon. The safety car is in this lap. Court will lead us away with Kingsholm in P2. Now, the great thing here is that both of them are teammates, so they could help each other out here. Court might be able to get that good start and then lead us away, and then Kingsholm might be able to kind of back up King David and the rest of the field. Of course, I'm sure they're going to both try and get the best start here, but they could work together, and yeah, we'll see how this all works out. It's going to be very interesting. So, where does Court go? Does he go now or at the end of this corner?
Oh, he's gone he's basically followed the safety car in there.
And now he goes.
He's compromised his teammate though. King David's looking very racy already. Could he get the move on both of them into turn 1?
Yep, and Kingsholm too. Yeah, all three of them are trying to get that move, and it looks like we're going to get some great racing here because King David and LGE Kingsholm are battling it out. The drivers that were second and third in the race are now battling for the race lead. Kingsholm and King David going wheel to wheel down into turn 4. King David trying to defend that line. Kingsholm trying to defend that line. David now trying to go down the inside, which turn, he cuts over to the other side of the track. That was pretty neat. That was pretty neat there from Kingsholm, but he does have to stick behind King David just for now. Oh, he loses a car.
Kingsholm's right. Oh, he's had a mare. Kingsholm now, he hasn't lost too many positions. He's still on track, and I'm not seeing damage, but he's now in a swarm of cars. Not what he would have wanted from that restart, but not the worst thing that could happen. I suppose he could be out of the race. Let's be honest, but. Yeah, King David, absolute rocket at the start there. Totally capitalised on... Well, he got a much better start than Kingsholm did. I think Court sort of caught Kingsholm off guard. King David was ready for it. And look at him now. He's in P1, fresh tyres. In theory, that gap should just keep increasing.
Exactly, yeah. I think this is really working out for King David right now. As you mentioned, he got that great start. Really saw that Court and Kingsholm didn't get the great start, and he knew exactly what to do. He really did. He knew exactly what to do, and like you mentioned, he is up at the P1 and doing a great job right now. Lucas A. Germany, another driver we should probably mention, just got a 3-second time penalty, has got 9-lap-old hard compound tires. I think he's trying to go for the hards to soft strategy here, which is a very, very unusual strategy that sometimes can work out. It can work out, but you got to take those hards for a long time, and tire wear might be an issue.
Yeah, like I said, tire wear seems to be higher than on this track than I would have expected anyway. The predicted strategy, which always, of course, isn't always right, but is expecting a two-stop soft medium, or a one-stop medium hard. It seemed to say there, or soft hard. But if he can get those tires to last, it'll be a good night with yellow flags.
Ooh, I think that's Mr. Basil off the track at turn 9. I think that is on the straight.
I think he's back on and he looks fine to me. No damage, thankfully.
Massive crash. Reese boy out of the race. Spun off. I saw that, and he just went straight into the wall. That was a massive crash. He flipped up in the air there for a bit. The front of his car went airborne for a bit, but it looks like there's no safety car or virtual safety car. And that's him out of the race. That's the second Ford out of the Grand Prix. Only 2 Fords remaining. Only a Sector 3 yellow flag, as it looks like Blades and number 1 fan having a nice battle here for P3. It looks like Lewis is going to try and get in the battle as well. Is Lewis going to try and make that move? Maybe try and make it 3 wide. Oh, this would be really great if they make it 3 wide.
Contact.
There is.
Oh, my heart. My little heart. I can't take it. It's lap 11. How many incidents do we need?
It's only lap 11 and we're getting a lot of action out on track.
Oh, okay. I mean, we're all safe. We can take a breather again, and we'll see what happens next.
Exactly.
Boosted comes in with a time penalty. I can see the time penalties racking up in this race as well. Like I say, you know, there's a lot of drivers there with 3 seconds. They might come into play at the end of the race, particularly if there's a late safety car, which is what we're expecting.
Yes, that is something that is going to be very interesting to look out for, the penalties. I think turn 1 is especially going to be difficult. We have seen a lot of penalties racking up through the grid here, and that is okay. That's just how it all works out. But yeah, penalties are going to be a big thing, and that could impact the end result in today's race. It looks like Keensholm and number 1 fan are having a nice battle for P7. Lewis trying to get in the action as well. Keensholm will just about split the 2 Bentleys, and he will try and re-overtake number 1 fan. Now remember, Court and Keensholm both have 11-lap-old medium compound tires. Lucas A. Germany has 11-lap-old hards as well. So all 3 drivers are going to struggle with tire wear compared to the other drivers, and that will affect their end result. As Lewis is maybe going to try and make the move on Keensholm. No, he was looking for it, but Keensholm was already turning into that particular corner, and so Lewis had to back off, of course. But the battle will continue on. Lewis does have fresher tires. Like I did mention, Keensholm's going to be struggling a little bit with tire wear there and grip. So that means Lewis is probably going to have the better grip. And the thing with this track, guys, is that the grip is really, really critical. This is what you need. You need grip on this track because there's so many tight turns, there's so many turns that are pretty long, and you need as much cornering speed as possible. So that's why drivers want to put a little bit more downforce and stuff like that, and that of course will decrease understeer. So that's another reason why drivers don't want understeer for this track. And of course, you want to be on fresh tires as well. Limesky on Flea, number 1 fan on Flea as well. I think we're getting a great battle here for P5.
Oh, and they're going side by side into turn 1. Who's going to come off better? Oh, and there's contact!
Ooh.
Oh, and there's more contact! It's a huge incident. Who's out? I didn't even see. Thibble Boy's been caught up and he's been sent into the wall. It's full safety car again. Oh my.
Oh dear.
My. Oh my.
I like we had the same reaction to that.
That was a big incident in the turn. I'm not sure what happened. I've seen the contact between Flea and Liam going into turn 2, I believe that was. And with the contact, Liam's just spun into the back of Thibble Boy, and it's just sent him into the wall. He's just been a passenger in that incident, unfortunately. But lap 13, safety car 2. I don't know. Will there be another one? Will the game allow another one?
I think it will. I think it's going to be interesting, though. This could affect the race, of course. I think Lucas A. Germany and Court will most likely come in pit lane. Same with Keensholm. I don't know. It's possible we might get another safety car. But yeah, going back to that incident between Liam and Flea, it looks like both of Keen David is actually coming in the pit lane. That is quite surprising on those 5-level medium.
That's really surprised me. I'm assuming he's going on to hard tires, maybe. thinking, okay, now's the time we can go to the end, and it is hard tires, yeah. A couple of guys, Dazzy's stead out, he's gone, where is he?
All 3 Bentleys.
Wow. Bentley's trying to capitalise then. They're expecting another safety car. Flea gets a 5-second penalty for the pit lane. That's going to annoy him. I would put that down to maybe some wing damage from that incident, possibly. Has caught me out a few times, definitely. But yeah, I'm surprised. I'm looking at these tyre compounds, Brown, and a lot of these tyres are almost like expecting another incident to happen. So I was expecting a lot of hard tyres, but it's actually quite a mixed bag. There's a couple of guys in the softs, a couple of guys in the mediums, and the guys in front tend to be on the harder compounds. But some of these guys are willing to sacrifice the tyre wear for the pace at the minute.
Yeah, this is very surprising. I'm also looking at this and thinking, what strategy is this right now? So currently we have drivers on the hard compound tires. That is, I think I understand that one, because the thing is, guys, is that the hard tires will most likely go to the end of the Grand Prix. Then we have drivers on the mediums, which is, I guess, another interesting strategy. I guess that works out. You could definitely take mediums to the end of the Grand Prix. But then we also have drivers on the soft compound tires. And the soft compound tires are very interesting because they will not make it to the end of the Grand Prix. So they'll have to pit again. But they're going to be insanely quick. So we have a massive mix-up between 3 different compounds, hards, mediums, and softs. And I don't know what to expect. I think, like you mentioned, I think a lot of these guys are praying that there's going to be another safety car. Like Kingsome and Flea and Boosted, all in the soft compound tires. They're probably going to hope for another safety car. And that safety car will allow them to pit for another set of softs or something like that. So this is going to be very, very interesting. I am excited to see how this all works out because the hard compound runners are going to be struggling a little bit, trying to get those tires up to temperature. Once they get them to around 7 laps old, they'll be good to go, I think. And then you got the medium compound runners, they're kind of in the mix, and then you got the soft compound runners who are going to be flying through the field as well. It's going to be a pretty big mix-up. And then, of course, we also have the 3 Bentleys up in P1, P2, and P3. They're on different compound tires. They're all on 7-lap old tires. But I am curious to see what strategy they have played here. Do they want to back up the rest of the field and let them kind of like number 1 driver go and then number 2 driver go and then number 3 driver go kind of thing, or are they just going to all go at once? It's going to be interesting. I wonder if the team game is going to be played between these 3.
I'm liking your theory. Because in theory, Robin can go to the end in those hards. The 2 medium guys, unlikely, but if they can hold up King David, Lucas, Court, King's Home behind, they're doing him massive favours. If he can get that gap big enough, he might be able to hold it for the rest of the race, because I can't see him wanting to pit again on those tyres. So maybe the Bentleys are playing some 300 IQ strategy here, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. This is going to be interesting. I don't know how this is going to work out between all these drivers, but we're going to find out now because the safety car's coming in. So this is perfect time to talk about this. Like you mentioned, Robin will probably go to the end of the race, but where will he finish? Because the other drivers have fresher tires, and yeah, I don't know. We'll see how this all works out. I don't really have any words at this particular moment. We just have to see what happens down to turn 1 at the end of this safety car. Safety car is now entered the pit lane, and Robin is already gone. And he's actually got a really good start. The Bentleys have all got a really good start off of King David, who is now have a 5.5 second gap to, a 5/10 gap to Lewis, which is very interesting. Now, are the Bentleys going to try and battle? No, it doesn't look like it. But this is really great for Bentley. This was the perfect strategy, and now they have a really good start off of the rest of the field.
Yeah, I sort of thought Lewis was maybe thinking about a move into turn 1, but I think your theory might be right here. The medium guys should be going faster than Robin, but we've seen Dazzy all race be quite racy, but King David's going to go for a move and try and get these guys out of the way, though. Is he going to pull it off? Lewis is backing everyone up. This might be the absolute golden strategy,
The Bentleys are totally playing the team game here. This is, like you mentioned, a golden strategy here. I think Lewis is doing a masterclass strategy for the Bentley team. I think this is planned. I think this was planned. This is Brilliant. David's going for it, though. Down the inside he goes. Oh, a little bit of contact. Possibly wing damage for Lewis. Lewis called. Oh, okay, David spun. He's out.
And he's off.
He's out of the race.
That's going to be devastating for him. He was having a great... It's another virtual safety car. That's going to be devastating for him. He was having a great run. I'm not sure if he lost the traction just going into that little left kink. It's caught plenty of drivers out before. I'm not surprised it's caught another here. But he's going to be devastated with that. He was having such a great run. Definite contender for the win today. But yeah, Lewis, absolute masterclass defending. And with King David spinning out, the Bentleys are 1, 2, 3 again.
They are. And their nearest competitors really are Lucas and Kienzoom, because both are on fresher tires, where Court and Nero are all on the hard compound tires. So really, they just have to worry about Lucas right now, because Lucas is going to be on fire on those medium compound tires. He was on fire throughout the sprint race. He's a very quick driver, of course. So I think if they can continue the defending, that will be critical for them. And I think the third Bentley, Lewis, in third position right now, if he can hold up Lucas like he did to King David, but of course be clean about it, all that sort of thing. Don't like intentionally block him or anything like that. This could work out beautifully for the Bentley team. This could be the winning strategy, and I think this will be the winning strategy, because look at the gap number one fan and Robin already have off of Lucas and the rest of the field.
I mean, he barely had half a lap of racing too, so that's a great big gain in such a short space of time. These guys playing an absolute masterclass, and the safety car's in. Well, virtual safety car's in.
Yep, we get the racing underway. Robin leads us away by 9/10 to number one fan. Lewis has a 4/10 gap to Lucas. Lucas absolutely flying. I'm curious to see if he's going to make this move on Lewis, so we'll see. Here comes the reserve driver on the Bentley. Is Lewis going to keep ahead? He's got a pretty good gap. DRS is now enabled. Lucas will not get the DRS because that will happen on the next lap, but he will get it in the DRS zone in between turn 9 and turn 10. Now, Lewis keeps ahead for now. And while that's happening, the two other Bentleys are starting to gain a lot of time on the rest of the field, which is great to see. But I think Lucas is actually going to try and make the move. He's got much fresher tires, and the thing is, when you have more grip into turn 3, then you're going to have a lot more speed than the driver ahead. And that is Mr. Basil off the track, I do believe, at turn 3.
Yeah, he's in the gravel. He's building sandcastles at the minute. Not having a great time. I think that's the second time I've seen him spin these. Like I say, this track, it's just catching. It's the traction zones. We've said it about 5 or 6 times. It's the traction zones catching everyone out.
It is. I just saw Flea trying to correct his mistake. Looks like he just went a little too deep into that corner and almost lost the car at turn 6, I do believe it was. This track is all about traction zones, and that's why I think when leagues come here, it is going to be difficult, but of course, it is an incredibly fun race when you come to the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. While it is a very difficult circuit, that's why it makes it so fun as well, because it is difficult. So Lucas has got... Ooh, he lost a little bit of time, got a little bit too much on the power there. Went into the right side of the track, and I don't know if he's going to have the opportunity to make the move on Lewis. I think
it's going to be a big send if he does.
Lewis
he thinks better of it.
Exactly.
Maybe a move into turn. Oh, maybe a move coming up now. Is it turn 4? My Maz isn't great, but he's thinking about it, and he's going to go for it up the inside. Those fresher tires means you can brake later, and on the inside line he has control of this corner, but Lewis is saying, no, this is a Bentley 1, 2, 3, you can come back later, son.
But Lucas is coming back now. He's coming back now. He's going to try and go for it. He's going to try and go around the outside of Lewis. And what a beautiful move that was from Lucas. A German, he moves himself up into third position now. And unfortunately, ruins the Bentley 1, 2, 3. But Lewis is not going to come back, and he's going to go for it. He's actually going to go for it. He goes down the inside, and the racing will continue between these two drivers. Kienzoom in the fight as well. Oh, a little bit of contact between the two drivers. What happened there? Oh, Lewis is off the track. Kienzoom was there. I'm not sure what happened between those two drivers there, but Kienzoom now moves himself up into fourth position, and is now trying to make the move on Lucas A. Germany.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've seen some contact, but the camera angle unfortunately got to a little bit of an awkward view, so I couldn't see what actually happened. Lewis pees into the pit. He's got wing damage, so I'm not sure. Like I say, I didn't see exactly what happened, but that's going to be that's the Bentley 1, 2, 3 ruined for now anyway.
Unfortunately, yes, but it had to end at some point. I mean, oh, that's Flea! Spinning off, oh, massive crash! Flea and Brad are out of the race! I got a perfect onboard of that as well!
Another safety car! Another safety car! How many drivers have we left? We're down to 12?
Oh my goodness! My goodness, yeah, we're down to 12. A full course safety car is out on track for the third or fourth time. How many safety cars have we had?
I don't even know. Have they got enough fuel for this? Is there enough
fuel?
Sure. I was gonna say, but you know, I think I've jinxed a lot of these drivers before we started. You asked me who the quick boys were, who we should keep an eye on. Most of those guys I mentioned are actually out of the race at this point. So I think my old curse of jinxing people is starting to show its head again, but yeah, so another safety car. I'm expecting this to be the last one. I can't see the game allowing any more than this. We've had 2 virtuals, 3 safety cars, 3 full safety cars, if my math is correct.
I think so.
Absolute carnage.
And
another drive-through for Blade.
Another one! How is this possible? Oh,
He's not done himself any favours. He's not done himself any favours. But I mean, with 12 drivers left, there's a fairly high chance of points here. So all these guys got to do is keep it on track and overtake 2 cars. You're in the points. A lot of the guys actually dived in there, but I suppose it was the guys we were expecting. The hard runners stayed out. The Bentley 123 now well and truly dismissed.
Yes, it has been, unfortunately, but that's, I guess, the way it goes. It's unfortunate, but, yeah. Something else I want to quickly mention, well, actually, there's 2 things I want to mention. We just saw Kingsholm leave the session. Not exactly sure what happened there. Or wait, maybe he has not. He's in his car, I think, but it says he left the session, but maybe that's just a glitch on my end. Anyway, number 1 fan is Pitt, but he's come out on 13-lap old medium compound tires.
Interesting. I'm not sure. I'm going to expect him to go back into the pits again because I think he was expecting to have a fresh set of mediums and he's miscalculated. Those mediums are definitely not going to the end, and I'll be very surprised if we have another safety car or anything of the likes. So he's going to have to pit for hards in my head. I
think so too. I mean, like, that's the only thing I can think of. Maybe softs, but no way he can take those 12 laps around this track. I mean,
yeah. That tire wear's actually, it's really starting to, you know, what we're seeing people get caught out. Kingsholm's rejoined, so you were right. But the tire wear clearly catching a lot of people out here, so I wouldn't be willing to gamble. He's willing to gamble, he's staying out.
He is staying out. That is quite interesting. Those tires are going to be really old, though. And this is quite... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, yeah, I'm just having a look at the comments here. There's a lot of Court fans. A lot of Court fans in the comments.
Is there? Oh, great.
Yeah. A lot of guys, Court legend, and Court has his biggest fan here. Let's go Court, that's Brabant Gamers, and forgive me because I'm terrible with names. Ralph Schulenberg, Court's biggest fans. Cheering him on in P2 at the minute. Let's hope he won't disappoint them.
You know, for all those fans for Court, just gotta say, he's got a chance. He's got the chance of winning this. He definitely has. Could Court win the second race of the season? It's definitely a possibility. Robin's on double wear of what Court's tires are. He's gone 14 laps, 7 laps older tires than Court. So Court definitely has got the chance to win this race. Could he make this another Ford win? Kingsholm won the first race in Austria. Could Court win the second race here in Spain?
It'd be a great start for Ford this season, definitely. Of course, Robin, this time he doesn't have the safety net sitting behind him. He's going to have to get a move on. His defence is entirely up to himself now. He's sitting vulnerable.
Yeah, he's got to get the perfect start. And yeah, like you mentioned, I mean, before the Bentleys really, the 2 other Bentleys really defended for him. But now, like you mentioned, it really is up to him. So he's got to play this completely right. He's got to make sure that he gets the best start of possible and make sure he backs up the rest of the field here. Oh, the safety car's not coming in. I thought the safety car was coming in.
I thought that myself. I was wondering. I was like, "Is the safety car get lost? Does Bert get lost?" No, we got another lap, which will probably help those guys in the soft. To be fair, you know, now they've only got 10 laps to take them. The tyre wear behind the safety car, obviously. Oh, we have a collision. We have a collision between Bush and was it Lewis?
I'm not sure. I didn't see.
I've seen there's a 5-second time penalty popped up there. It doesn't look like either has damage, so it mustn't have been anything significant. It could be one for the stewards after the race. I'm starting to get the feeling the stewards are going to be busy after the race.
I think they might be.
All these drivers out, of course I'm one of them. So I'm going to be busy tonight and tomorrow, I think. But you know, I think a lot of these may have been racing incidents, just people getting caught out by the traction zone. So hopefully they're straightforward enough and there's nothing too ridiculous. I see King's home pit there, but he's come back out on 7-lap old soft, so I'm not sure what's happened then. But he is backing up big time. I think he's looking to back up that safety car, or back up so that whenever he catches the safety car, his tyres are nice and toasty and has an advantage over the guys in front of him. But those 7-lap old, he's looking to take those soft 17 laps. That sounds like a bit of a stretch to me, but I've been proven wrong before.
That is a pretty big stretch. I mean, I don't know, 7 laps on the soft compound tires. That is pretty long. As the safety car is in this lap, Kingsholm's got to go fast if he's going to be able to catch up to that safety car. He should be able to, but it's going to be a little tight. So we'll see how that all works out. I am curious to see how Robin's tires work out. Will he be able to get the nice start, especially with those 15-lap-old hard compound tires? We will find out in just a moment's time. So we got 10 laps left of the race. You guys are enjoying the stream so far. Like this video if you are just new to the channel. Subscribe as well to see more content, and also follow the Twitch channel as well, which we are streaming on. So do both of that, and we are ready to get the racing underway. Robin is just slowing the pack down. He's getting ready.
There's contact between Dazzy. Oh, and that's going to be a dive into the pits. There's someone out. Nero is out. He's crashed into the pit lane wall.
Oh no, that's horrible. I didn't know that happened.
4 cars into the pit lane. There's 10 drivers. Kingsholm's retired in the pits. There's only 10 cars left on the track. Everyone, as long as they finish, is guaranteed points today. Nem Vidic is up into P5 after that first lap incident. Mr. Basil, who I was laughing earlier because he spun twice, is in P6.
Yeah, and he's got, I mean, those two drivers both have 2-lap-old soft compound tires. They are going to have faster tires than Court and Robin, who are both on older hard compound tires. This is going to be really interesting. And Limesky is up to second on the soft compound tires. There are 2 laps left. Limesky could be winning today's race. So I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Is it Liam? I think it is Liam.
That's Liam, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
I heard Lime earlier and I was like, who's Lime? And then I realised. More contact. There's so much contact. I seen debris, but I don't know who it was from.
Yeah, I think it was Liam.
3 seconds.
I think it was Liam.
P2, but
he's got damage.
He's missing an end plate. He's missing it. He's got to dive in.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, he's coming in. This is it.
And
Liam's out. I think this is it. He doesn't have the chance of winning the race anymore.
Do you know what? Robin's got away quite well there. I think he's just avoided all the drama, and now he's up into, he's got a 1.5 advantage over Court behind. Nem Vidic and Mr. Basil currently sitting P4 and 5 at the minute.
Wow.
This is crazy.
Mr. Basil has no penalties. The 3 drivers up ahead of him do. They all have penalties. He could be on the podium. He could be second place.
If Mr. Basil gets a podium, I will scream at the top of my lungs. Everyone's in the pit again. What is it? There's so many incidents. I'm going to be busy tonight, man. This is going to be busy. It's just been a bonkers race. Like, I was expecting retirements, but I wasn't expecting this. Half the grid's out. Bonkers, but I'm now rooting for Mr. Basil.
At this track, this track is incredibly difficult. I got a league race coming up on Sunday, and I'm worried. It's at this track, and I'm worried there's going to be a few incidents. I just hope everything goes right. Yeah, this track is very difficult. It does cause some incidents, but that's all okay. And now we're going to get an unexpected winner of today's race. Robin has that 1.9 second gap, and currently, Currently, if Robin gets 2 more penalties, Mr. Basil could win the Grand Prix.
My mind will be blown, and he'll be buzzing with that. It'll be his first win with a yellow flag, sector 3. I don't know what his bank boost has had. He's caught the curb somewhere. He's allowed Dazzy behind to catch up, but he's back on track and on the go again. But if Mr. Basil gets even a podium, he'll be ecstatic. I think it'll be his first podium from memory. Same with Nemvidic. He's less penalties than the guys ahead, so if he can just stay glued to the back of Lewis and Court, they're both really looking at a podium here today.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, both have 5-second time penalties. And, I mean, Nem is right behind. Could be P3, I think, for him, because Mr. Basil might jump ahead because he's got no penalties currently. So we'll see. But right now, Lewis and Court battling 4th position. I think this is interesting. We're going to see a possible Bentley 1-2 once again.
Yeah, they'll be happy with that. They didn't get the best start, I believe, last week, but this is looking very, very tasty. I'm just looking at Lewis, though. Lewis is looking very racy behind Court. Thinks about the move, but thinks better of it. Dazzy gets a 3-second time penalty. These penalties are going to come into play big time. Even with 10 drivers left, the remaining drivers could get mixed up incredibly.
Totally, yeah. I mean, this is going to be crazy. We'll see what happens, you know. Anything can really happen in this race. It's definitely proved so. So we'll see what happens. I did not expect this podium currently was going to be like this when we started this race, but who knows what can happen, really. Robin currently leading away by 2.3 seconds, doing an incredible job right now. Court defending off of Lewis, who spins in the wall, loses the car.
Oh no, he's kept it alive, but oh, it's going to hurt him a bit. That promotes Nemvidic up to P3. He's currently sitting in the podium positions with Mr. Basil behind with no penalties. One of these guys could get a podium today.
One of these guys is going to get a podium today. It's either going to be Nem or Mr. Basil. And currently, Mr. Basil is 2.4 seconds behind Nem. And that is enough for him to get P3 in today's race. He's just got to make sure that he keeps it on track. Same with Nem as well. One of these guys is going to get the podium.
Yeah, unless there's an incident. So as long as they keep it on the black stuff, that's looking comfortable. And I know Nem's put a lot of practice into today's race, so this is going to get juicy. Nem's pulling that gap on the straights anyway. As long as he can keep it in the black stuff, this is looking bliss, absolutely bliss for him. He'll be ecstatic.
Yeah, I would love to see either one of these guys on the podium. Nem and Mr. Basil both deserve to be on the podium in today's race. Will it be Monster Energy? Will it be Porsche? We don't know. We will find out in just a few laps time. Court and Robin also up there as well. Court's got that 5-second time penalty, and Nem currently will finish, I do believe, in P3. No, he will finish. He'll finish in P3. He will not finish in P2 because Court still has that gap off of Nem.
Just looking at Blade, could he hold up now? I was going to say maybe he'll hold up Mr. Basil, and that gap will increase above that 3-second threshold, but Blade gets out of the way. But Mr. Basil doesn't lose too much time, but it's eking ever closer to that 3-second threshold. This could get the two guys are good friends in real life, so this is going to be a big rivalry for the podium.
This definitely is. 2.2 seconds separating Nem and Mr. Basil. Mr. Basil gaining time on Nem, but Nem is pulling the time out on the straights. I think Nem might be running a lower downforce setting. Mr. Basil might be running a higher downforce setting as Blades is now out of the Grand Prix. Retires in the pit lane. Now 9 runners in the Grand Prix. Up ahead, Court has got 3 seconds to Robin. And another thing to keep an eye on as well, Robin is on 21 lap old hard compound tires. Is it a possibility he could get a puncture?
I mean, with the way things have been going, I wouldn't be surprised. The hards will last a long time, but he's been on those tires, a really long time. So, like I say, with the way things have been going, anything's possible. He could, even if he, like I say, if he loses traction and spins, we could have both Mr. Basil and Nemvidic on the podium. So, anything's possible in this race, it seems.
Yeah, who knows? We will find out in just a few laps time. Mr. Basil's gap to Nem is 2.4 seconds, 2.5 seconds now. That gap will fluctuate every once in a while. And we will see a very interesting end to this Grand Prix. We truly will. Robin now in 22 laps of hard compound tires. Court on 15-lap-old hard compound tires. Nem on 8-lap-old soft compound tires. Mr. Basil on 8-lap-old softs, and Lewis on 8-lap-old mediums. Bentley are going to score some good points. Robin P1, Lewis P5. I think that's going to be great for them in their hunt to win the championship.
Yeah, and then, but it's the only Porsche in the top 10, and Court the only Ford. The two of the drivers are part of the reserve team, so this result's going to be pretty much beneficial for everyone who's left. The big losers today, I suppose, being Toyota. They have no drivers left in the race, so they've come out of today with, well, today's 50% with no points.
Yeah, Toyota have not had a great start to the season. It didn't really go well for them in Austria. I mean, they had some good results, but it wasn't like a podium or anything like that. But yeah, today it hasn't gone well at all for the Toyota team. Hopefully they come back at the next one. Actually, I do not know what the next race is. Do you know what the next race is?
I can find out if you give me a second.
Yeah, that'd be great. Just curious to know what our next race is going to be. Well, we have these
race next Thursday's race is Azerbaijan, which is also a track that's quite can catch a lot of people out if you're not careful. Any street circuit really, a very difficult one. But if we look at Monday's race next week, we're going to Azerbaijan also. So both Monday and Thursday next week in Azerbaijan, and Tuesday's race will be Bahrain, where the only different track from next week. Monday's already raced on that, so if you missed that, please check it out. The video, it was a great race. Same with Mondays this week. Do you know what? I'm saying the specific races, they've all been great. They've all been so close. The drivers are all pretty much on top of each other in regards to pace. Every single race we've had so far this season has been unique and thrilling in its own way, so please check it out, please like and please subscribe. I think we're trying to hit 200 by the end of the season, so anything you can, well, any subscriber can help.
Yeah, definitely. What Big Weir said, guys, definitely subscribe to the channel. I watched a bit of the Monday race. I also watched a bit of the Tuesday race as well. Both were absolutely incredible. And the level of racing is in this season, I guess that this would be Season 3 in LFR, Season 1 in this particular championship. But this season in LFR is starting to be an incredible season. We've already had 2 racing weeks of action and just already have had some incredible races. We are now entering the second to last lap of the Grand Prix. We're entering the penultimate lap of the Spanish Grand Prix. We have 9 remaining drivers in today's race. Currently, Mr. Basil is unfortunately 4.4 seconds behind Nem. Nem has pulled that gap off, and currently it will finish in P3.
Could be a move here, actually. I'm just looking at Lewis and Lucas in P5. Lucas has sent it up the inside on the soft tyres. We thought they weren't going to last, but they seem to have more grip than the mediums at the moment. He's got that move done. Now he just needs to pull that second gap from the penalties, and that'll secure him P5 at least. But yeah, Nem Vidic currently looking like he's on for a podium. As long as he doesn't get any more penalties, doesn't spin, he's just got to coast it round for a lap. He'll be absolutely buzzing with that.
Yeah, this will be great for Nem. I'm so excited if he's going to be getting this podium. This will be great for Porsche as well. Get them up there as well. It'll be another podium to add to the Porsche team. This will be great for them. Another podium for Ford as well, as they grabbed the win last time out in Austria. It looks to be second place for Court in today's race, which is very good. And it will also be the Bentley team up there as well. I said in Austria that Bentley needs some good points to take away in the next round of Spain, and they're definitely going to be getting that as Robin starts the final lap of the Spanish Grand Prix, and he will be winning this one unless something disastrous happens, which is unlikely. Nem has left the session. What happened there?
Have we had a couple of glitches?
Oh no, okay.
I seen Dazzy left the session also, so I'm not entirely sure what happened.
Okay, maybe it's just the glitches. Hopefully these drivers didn't leave the session. Sector 3 yellow flag. I think that's boosted off the track.
No, I think we've maybe just got a bit of a buggy lobby in the last lap.
Gotcha.
I'm not sure what's happened, but I think the standings will stand. Like I say, I'm one of the stewards for today, so if the lobby's bugged out, we'll probably just take the results from the previous lap. But Robin is coming around the final corners now to claim his first win in LFR.
Wow. Robin wins the Spanish Grand Prix. It is Bentley out on top here in Barcelona. Congrats to them. Court will grab P2 with a great podium for Ford. And Nem Vidic will come around the final corner to take P3 for Porsche. Congrats to him. I do believe it is his first podium, if I'm not mistaken.
First podium, same for Whitey Court, I believe as well. So I think that's a first podium and a first win in LFR for all three of those guys. So Scotty, I know he put the practice in today. I'm talking about Nemvidic, he'll be absolutely buzzing with that. Even Mr. Basil in P4, I think that might be his best result. Those top four guys are going to be absolutely ecstatic with that result.
Absolutely, yeah, it's been a brilliant race for those guys. They've had a really amazing performance out today. Robin, congrats to him. Bentley take the win here in Spain. Court in P2, Nem in P3, and congrats to him as well. He picks up his first podium in LFR. But yeah, wow, what an incredible race that truly was. There was a lot of action, a few incidents, but that's okay. That's how the Spanish Grand Prix sometimes works out. But we truly had an incredible race, a lot of action, a lot of overtakes as well, and some incredible results with Bentley out on top, Ford in second, and Porsche rounding off the podium.
Definitely a race to remember anyway. So the rules probably still stand. I think we had a bit of a bug there at the end. I've got a couple of messages from the guys saying that they got kicked. So, I don't think that any of those positions would have changed with the extra lap anyway. So, the positions will likely stand before the incidents are done anyway. But, Brian, what a race! What a race! It was a bit crazy.
That was crazy. That was an amazing race. Wow, I am speechless, really. That was incredible. Thank you so much for commentating with me, mate. I really appreciate it, commentating with you. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've seen you've been doing a lot of commentating by yourself, so I said I'd do you a solid. We are trying to get you a partner in crime, but I said I didn't mind coming on tonight to co-commentate with you and to hear the commentary first time, Broom. Top quality.
Thank you, mate. I appreciate it, and top quality as well by yourself. And I just want to say thank you so much, and I hope to be doing comms with you in the future. So I think that is going to be it. I think that pretty much concludes the Spanish Grand Prix. There is one thing I quickly want to mention before we end off the stream. If you guys want to check out the highlights video for the Formula 4 race, please do so. This was it's going to be really cool to see. I'm going to go check it out. Keen's Home, I do believe, is going to get worked. Is going to be working on that. You guys can check out the standings in that as well. So there'll be a highlights video for this particular race. You guys can check out all the action in the small little highlights video that we'll be putting on in very soon, of course, in the LFR YouTube channel. So that's going to be it. Thank you all so much for watching. If you're watching over on Twitch, thank you so much. Follow there. If you're watching over on YouTube, thank you so much as well. Subscribe on there. Thank you to everyone that has been watching the streams, and just want to say thank you to all the drivers, the admins, and all of LFR for having us commentate here today for the LFR Spanish Grand Prix Round 2 of the Formula 4 Championship event, and that was the Spanish Grand Prix. So, join us next week for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix Round 3 of the Formula 4 Championship race. It is going to be an incredible season, and I cannot wait for the third round of this season. So, until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm Formula Jonah, that's Big Weir, and we're signing off for today. Goodbye.